Welcome again to Tibalt's Apprentice. I'm back with Enrique.
Yes.
Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And I see you brought a friend.
Yes, indeed.
God, I hate that guy.
I've unveiled the new playmat.
That guy. Awesome. So, a couple of topics to talk about. First thing we're going to talk about is I hate to win. So we'll get to that in a second. So
I agree with that.
You may not by the time I'm done talking about it. So here's the deal. First of all, I realize this is going to be boring or lame, or you're not even going to want to watch this if I keep talking about how much I lose and that I'm a bad player. Because who wants to listen to anybody that's going to give you bad advice? You know, if you were that good, why wouldn't you win? So I need to put that to the side. If I'm playing the part of a born loser, who cares? That's a bad idea, right?
Yeah, it's kind of boring.
Okay, yeah. Fair enough. So, it's just the fact that those bad beats stick out in my head more than the victories do. Because I've won, and now I'm on to the next game, and that's what I'm concerned with. So we talked, too, about the fact that perception is how you view it and stuff. You know, when I see losing all the time, maybe somebody else doesn't. Maybe they're... So we're going to forget that. We're going to put that in the past. Forget about talking about a loser and forget all that stuff, right? All gone.
Erased.
I lost the entire month of May on Arena. The entire month of May.
That's impressive.
Yeah, exactly. So here, let me set this up a little bit. So before that, I was so close. I was a diamond. I was on the verge of getting to Mythic, okay? Ooh. Right there. A Diamond 2 or whatever. For me, that was a big deal. For me, getting that far, I was excited. May comes around. I'm thinking, great. It's going to be an easy jump. I'll just do the same thing I did last month, and then I'll be a Mythic player. Just once, just to say that I got there. I realize I'm not supposed to be talking about losing, but here's the thing. Where the spark came out, everything is in chaos.
Yes.
I freaking hate Planeswalkers. Have I told you that before?
No, you haven't.
I haven't. Well, I told somebody that in one of these things, and I don't really particularly care for. You know what? I'm not a baby. I can play around them, but I hate those guys. Where the spark comes out, and just the entire month I did nothing until the final week. And I basically took all the rage, all the hate, all the disdain, every negative emotion that I could, and I packed it into a deck. You know what happened?
Let me guess.
Go ahead.
Got rocked.
I started winning.
Oh, you won.
I started winning. That was the last 3 days of the season or whatever, so nothing happened. But for the entire month, I did not move out of gold. I moved from gold 4 to 3. You know, working the way up in the rank. That was it. But it wasn't until that last week, the last 3 days, that I finally did it. So, having said that, this time, 2 days into the month, 3 days into the new season, and I've already won my way all the way back up to mid-gold, and am now starting to work my way through that. So that's my point. My point is that despite talking about that, I'm glad and I am reassured that I can put together a deck myself. Now, it used to be a bigger deal to me brewing. You know what I mean? I wanted to come up with something on my own and stuff like that. I've gotten over that or whatever. But this time I was actually able to complete my own deck. But the problem is, what Arena has taught me is it threw me right back to being the spiky, salty player that I used to be. You didn't know me at that point, but back then, for example, in tournament play, I actually healed an opponent so that I could smash him in the face for 25 the next turn. I healed, so that's kind of crappy, actually. You know, somebody's in tournament play, I don't know, it wasn't a little kid. I did it with a rocket launcher, so I mean, that tells you how long ago it was.
Wow.
But yeah, I actually saved somebody like, I die from 3 points. Oh, well, you know what? I'm going to heal you up for 5, and then I'm going to unload you in the next turn.
That's terrible.
That's kind of crappy, isn't it? Though you know,
Dude, that's like,
yeah.
let me have.
Yeah. So I'm not. I don't bring that up because I'm particularly proud of it, but that's the kind of player that I used to be. The game has changed. I've changed. I've gotten older. I've mellowed out. But in that moment, I got to the table flipping rage of just. But from that came a beautiful deck, and it's the deck that's called I Hate to Win.
Oh.
I packed all the hate, all the rage I could into it, and that's it.
Oh, I see.
So you know this tale of the frog and the scorpion?
Yes.
Yes. Well, from now on or here on out and stuff, we'll be using a scorpion for the logo of Tibalt's Apprentice.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. And also maybe the Tibalt's Apprentice maybe makes a little bit more sense now that we've reached this point. I'm just going to read off what the deck is. So if anybody is playing it, if anybody wants to play it on Arena and stuff, it's been working for me. I'm not saying that it's the best deck ever. I have actually tweaked it since I initially put it on Facebook. You can, of course, find Tibalt's Apprentice on Facebook. And, you know, we're keeping contact with us as far as when new episodes and new shows are going to be up and stuff. But the version as it stands now, 3 Fountains of Renewal. You can tell I'm slipping into the old game.
Yes.
Yeah. So, let's see. We have 3 Fountains of Renewal, 1 Banefire, 2 Cast Down, a Walk the Plank, 2 Gaia's Blessing, Angrith's Rampage, 1 Cry the Carnarium, 1 Chromatic Lantern, 3 Mastermind's Acquisitions, 2 Rituals of Soot, 2 Vraska's Contempt, a Demolish, 3 Rubble Readings. You can see where we're going here and stuff, and I'm winning in the most vile of ways. And then 2 Primal Amulets. You can tell how old I am by how close I have to get here. What else do we have then?
Primal Amulet.
Primal Amulet is
Love that card.
doing major work. Bedeck, 2 Bedecks, a Haphazard Bombardment, 2 Star of Extinctions,
Holy moly.
2 Captive Audiences, 9 Swamps, 2 Memorials to War, 10 Mountains, 2 Blood Crypts, 3 Dragon Skull Summits.
2 Memorial to War.
2 Memorial. It's obviously a land destruction deck.
Yeah.
Much like your Niv Mizzet, I am going right for your right to play Magic.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure I would build this on paper because I wouldn't want to do this to my friends. But people online, fair game. Here's the other thing. I actually did a sideboard for this. I'm still playing best of 1 in a
Look at
rank
that.
just to get there. But taking some advice from you, I went ahead. So we're looking in the sideboard for the Elder Spell, 4 of those, a Walk the Plank, another Rampage, another Bedeck, Bedeck, and another Bedabble, 2 Chromatic Lanterns, 1 Rubble Reading, Primal Amulet, 2 Eldest Reborn, and 1, just for fun, Explosion Expansion. Just for nuts.
I like it.
So the deck seems to be all over the place, but I went onto a forum and just threw it out there to say, this is a good deck, I want it to be a great deck, what's your suggestion? And everybody said, that's terrible, you've got too many colors. And it's like, no, the deck works. Because the Mastermind's Acquisition
Oh, yeah.
basically just gives me 3 more of whatever card I want.
Oh, yeah.
I just go and fetch. I've got to get to those 4 land and stuff.
Can I just say that
Yes.
I'm excited that you have Mastermind's
acquisitions in there?
acquisition in there? That's I love that card. That card is sweet, especially especially in standard or any time you have access to a sideboard.
Right.
I mean, in game 1, you can potentially get that silver bullet that you would have put into your deck for game 2.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Kind of altering your deck to counter whatever your opponent's trying to do. You could do it in game 1.
Yes.
That's sweet.
Yes. Absolutely. So anyhow, that is just the deck that I wanted to share with you guys. Feel free to make any comments. Tell me I'm an awful person because I do terrible things to people that I don't know, but that's fine. That's the deck that I'm playing.
I have a question though.
What's that?
So your Bedevils.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised you don't have those in the main deck instead of the Raska's Contempt.
Got to get those planeswalkers. I told you I hate planeswalkers.
Bedevils destroys.
They do, but I don't like, which is ridiculous because, what is it? It's two black, one red, where I'm going for 2 black and 2 colorless.
Yeah.
And it usually does get red out before it does get black out. That's a change I might make. So maybe we'll, off camera, look at this a little bit more, or unless you see anything else right now. Actually, through the magic of editing, we'll discuss a couple of things here, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah.
So we're back from a little sidebar where we discussed that. I don't know how interesting that is for anybody else. I have audio of it, and I have video too. Maybe I'll be a side thing if somebody actually is interested in what we discussed on the day.
Like fast forward through.
Yeah, you might want to fast forward. We'll fast forward to that, but if you're really interested to hear what your thoughts were about what might make this work better, that's it. But anyhow, moving on to the other subject that I want to talk about, it's this one right here. Gideon Planeswalker deck. This product isn't really for us. I mean, we like to brew. It could be.
Yeah.
It is. I bought it, here, of course, at your local game store. We went here to Game Hub, and Matt was nice enough to sell it to me. What I really actually wanted was the 2 War of the Spark packs that were in there.
Yes.
But it brings up a good point, I think, or something that's worth talking about. Because, again, this isn't necessarily for us. And I'm saying it's not really for... Well, I'm not sure who it's for. Because I look at the power levels of these decks. And I realize, too, though, that our play group, or maybe just any play group that you're in, might skew your perception of how other people play. Think that's a fair statement or no?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, depending on your play group, I mean, if your play group is, let's say, all about Commander, then one would be less inclined to, say, bring a bunch of pre-con decks, that I occasionally do that. I bring a bunch of pre-con decks and say, hey, these are, like, Return to Ravnica pre-cons, untarnished or modified. Let's go play. And I'm often met with, maybe not.
I'm into it. I actually also, as far as I'm concerned, I want this channel to be for anybody or everybody at all different levels. So that's actually why I wanted to talk about this, that with a deck like this, with a few simple tweaks, I think it could be a lot more valuable.
Just looking at the deck, the deck list, it's very synergistic.
Okay.
I can definitely say that about this deck. There is a theme, and it's synergistic.
If it was synergistic, and again, we have no, or at least I have no business telling what they should do. But why not a Johnny's Welcome?
Oh,
why on earth doesn't it have that? But I mean, I don't know what's the price on that these days. I mean, is it priced outside that?
Johnny's Welcome is from 2019, right?
Is it? Okay.
That's from Magic 2019.
Okay.
So I can see why.
Too far out then?
Yeah, they figured. I can imagine the line of thought was, okay, well, this might rotate soon, and
Okay, fair enough. So with that in mind, also then, at some point, I'm sure the designers or whatever are like, well, let them discover it. Let them discover the cards that they should be playing. But we looked at this, and there were a few cards that you liked and a few cards you would take out. Now, I was actually going to talk about this and maybe do this another time, but you were able to look at it and tell me a few things right away that you saw would be taken out. Which one are you thinking would be going out of this deck?
All right, so okay, to make it more competitive.
To make it more competitive.
Yeah, so
more competitive, more fun, more synergistic even? I don't know.
These cards here, which I'm sure you'll put on the screen.
You'll
So, Vampire Opportunist, Gideon's Company, War Screecher, and Enforcer Griffin.
Okay, so those were 6 easy removal cards right away. What stood out as those?
They're low power, other than maybe Gideon's Company, it's got a little more power than the other cards, because it works somewhat like the Johnny's Pride Mates,
Right.
where you gain life and you toss counters onto it, and it starts off as this 3/3, but for its cost,
Right.
not that impressive. It's 4 mana, 3 generic and white for a 3/3. Whereas a Johnny's Pride Mate is 2 mana, 1 generic, 1 white, and it's a 2/2.
Right.
And it gains counters whenever you gain life.
Yeah.
And so, it's on the lower end of the power scale as far as wanting to upgrade the deck. The other 3 creatures, they're really low on the power level.
Well, it goes back to something that I had said before as far as when I looked at this, and again, I wasn't keeping in mind rotation, and that's something else that somebody in marketing, of course, is probably concerned with. I looked at it, though, as does the creature do at least 3 different things? You know what I mean? Do they have 3 different niches that they fill? It used to be, it was a big deal that if something was going to have flying, it's going to cost, if 2/2 is going to have flying, it's going to be 4 mana, at least, or more. And that's just not the case. The power level has, like you said before in another episode, has creeped up so much so that you can find usually a more reasonable inclusion in there than, what in this case is, what do we have here? We have a Griffin Enforcer, a 3/4 for 5 mana.
Yeah.
Ooh, if I'm spending 5 mana, well, I'm destroying somebody's land, but not in a white deck. But yeah, you know what I mean? There's going to be something else better out there for you, probably.
Right.
What were the ones that you would include then?
All right, so these 2 cards here definitely keep. That's Command the Dreadhorde and also Oath of Kaya.
Okay.
Command the Dreadhorde. I would include that. I would actually increase the number in the deck to 2.
Okay.
And so because I want to draw one of them eventually.
Okay.
I definitely want to draw one. So it's better to have 2 in the deck. And so it reads, you choose any number of creatures or planeswalker cards in any graveyard or all graveyards. Could be both you and your opponents.
Right.
And then Command the Dreadhorde deals damage to you equal to the total converted mana cost of those cards.
Now, that's key what you just said.
Yes. Because another inclusion that I would make in this deck is the Planeswalker called the Wanderer.
Nice.
Which combos off really nicely with this card.
Right.
The Wanderer has the
mechanic or the ability.
The static ability of preventing damage to both you and creatures you control, or I think permanents. I'm not sure.
We'll have to look and see what it says right here.
Yes. So it prevents damage to all of those things, as long as it's not combat damage.
Right.
And so that's great. That means with Command the Dreadhorde, you cast that, you're not going to take damage, and you can pull everything out of the graveyard onto your battlefield.
Nice.
It's a sweet card.
My philosophy is don't let them get that far into the game. But that's just how I choose to play. But so here's the other thing that my initial thing through the things that we've talked about, my initial understanding of stuff is got me looking back at lands and the importance of lands. And the first thing that I would do probably is I would try to get rid of the Orzhov's Guild gates.
Yeah.
Get rid of those and instead go for the lands that come in searching if you have a plains or a swamp.
Oh yeah. Isolated chapels.
Yes, because those are worth the money. They're going to be worth. They're going to be good in any deck. So anytime those come out, anytime you get a chance to get them, absolutely scoop those up because they can go in any deck. We talked about this before about cards that can go in any deck.
Yes.
Lands, you need them for every deck. You need them even more if you're playing with me. You against me. But yeah, they're going to be. That's just like should be an auto include in every deck. I would say have those. But again, also I'm considering and thinking of playing on a budget. I can't afford every single product that comes out. I still try to get them anyhow, but I shouldn't be affording every single. But you know what I mean. Just as, and I think it could be a better experience for you if you're obviously if you're winning more, or if you even feel more competitive in the game. Going back to talking about not being a loser, the games that I do lose at this point, or that I have lost going into this, I'm not feeling as bad about. Because I know that I've got a strong background, I've got a strong showing and stuff, and maybe I'm taking things too personally, or woe is me, you know what I mean? But I am wearing the shirt, thou shalt not snivel. So let's keep that in mind. But it's just a more positive outlook if you know that it's a close game. You know what I mean? I think that's totally. Really the way it should be. And as long as you're having fun, that's really the most important thing. Absolutely. So you had an unveiling here of the playmat. I have an unveiling also. I was cleaning out some of the 25,000 Magic cards or more that I have. I have just obscene amounts. There's literally stacks of cards just around the house. At any rate, one of the things that I came across was
whoa,
still sealed in the plastic.
Oh, that's sweet. Duelist.
Duelist magazine. Can we see that? Can you see it? Can I find? I'm sure I can find it and put it on there. But yes,
wow.
A Duelist magazine,
and it's talking about Tempest.
And it's talking about Tempest, and it even has a 1997 World Championship Magic card in there.
Wow.
I have not opened this up. I do not know what card that is.
We could totally find out.
We could find out.
Heck, we could find out with the plastic still on.
We probably could. We could. And I could see what my old P.O. box was. Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Do we just crack it open? There's nothing in here except for the card, but let's just open it up and see.
Oh, hey, right on.
Drum roll, please. Hammer of Bogardam.
Oh,
nice. That used to be, well, it still is a big deal. Pulling things back out of the graveyard.
Oh yeah.
It's very.
I have lost to that card.
You lost to that one?
Oh yeah. I've lost
not recently.
No, not recently.
Oh hey, this is a poster in here.
Oh yes.
Oh.
Tempest art.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whisper
man.
of the Muse. Tempest art. Nice.
Love it. That's Krovax.
If wow. If we still had, well, I was going to say if we had our own studio, that would be going up on the wall. But, wow. All right. So, whoops. So I guess Enrique and I have some reading to do. So thank you for joining us. I have no idea what kind of gameplay video I'll film after this, but if you're up for a game, we'll check this out and then play a game.
Totally up for a game.
All right. Thanks for joining us. So for the rest of you, like, comment, and subscribe. We are going to be putting out more content. Hopefully it's going to be better content. Hopefully it's going to be even more fun. So come back and enjoy this.
Ding.